Of course, tonight I'm here as an editor, and I was thinking, coming here, about the title that Paolo had chosen for his journal, for his periodical, Italian Poetry Review. And I was thinking, I'm always obsessed with the etymology and philology. This is my background alla Sapienza in Rome. And I was thinking review as really the re-examination, as the Latin word would say, in somehow contrasting the other possibility that could have been journal, which carries the idea of a periodical, maybe more focusing on just one aspect, while Paolo is trying to focus and embrace the multidisciplinary aspects of creative expression. And then I went even more deeply, and I wanted to consult, because the word review is a kind of a calque of the French revue. And Robert uses the word review, in fact, as a kind of a scholarly, learned character, giving, in other words, the deepest possibilities of inquiring about creative writing, while journal spécialisé, says Robert, in one particular topic. But besides this, what we have in common, even though maybe the choice of methodology could not be the same, but the need, the necessity of having the same goal is very important. And that is what Paolo very clearly states in his editoriale, a dialogue between Italian poetry and poetology and American poetry and poetology. After all, the ultimate goal is to support and favor the promotion of this dialogue. A moment ago we heard from Professor Finotti this concept of insertion rather than exclusion. I think this is very significant to reveal the methodology, even though this word perhaps is too abused within the promotion of Italian poetry in the United States. It's diffusion, of course, and better understanding in both Italophone and Anglophone poets in the US. Allow me to quote, just to finish, two short passages in the previous issue. I was able to print only a part of the new one, but I reread actually, because I read already some months ago, the important editoriale that Paolo wrote in the issue, volume 2nd, 2007. The first passage says, which in somehow eloquently explain what I just tried to synthesize a moment ago. When he says, for example, there are many ways of developing a functional language, and the Italian style today is too often the style of laziness and retreat. Italian is needlessly conceding ground to English, not only in isolated lexical items, but more problematically in whole idioms and syntactic constructions, precisely in those areas, then, where linguistic usage intimately shapes the way of thinking about and imagining the world. In short, we adopted English as the framing language of IPR, so that Italian can stand out all the more vividly and maintain its modest but significant autonomy in the world of languages. And this passage speaks by itself, and I find very noble in the sense that gives us reminds us the position of Italian as perhaps a minoritarian language, but significant in the creative process of each one of us. And the other passage is more concerning with the method, the methodology, strategy perhaps, but Paolo doesn't seem to like very much this word. IPR way is that, or the strategy is that of allowing certain phenomena to impress themselves on the editor's attention as these phenomena emerge out of the welter of very different, if not divergent, submissions. Such an approach could be described as phenomenological, although I hasten to add that this abstract term is used here merely to suggest an attitude of welcoming, of attentive listening, of waiting and preparation, I underline this sentence, at a basic level, a form of intellectual tactfulness rather than a rigid doctrine. And I think this is also a very important, significant, I would say noble passage in the editoriale, because, after all, a journal, a magazine, a review, the function of a review is to testify what's going on in terms of living current situation in the creative process. It's not a book, but it is a kind of flexible palestra, a flexible gymnasium in which ideas dance, ideas encounter, and we as poets and as scholars have the duty and responsibility to confront them day by day. Thank you so much.